अरे हंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। इनको स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाय स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर चोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So last week we were discussing merits and demerits, right?
Yes, sir.
So we were on page number 19. Okay. We had seen the students' doubt was that merits and demerits, punya and pap, both are same. No, both are not same. That was students' doubt. And the teacher's solution was that both are same. So students gave his argument from 4 point of view. From the point of view of causes, tests, nature, and results. I had given you this homework to make a chart. Have any one of you have made it? Okay. So maybe this week you can try. So for the first column where these parameters, causes, tests, nature, and results. Then students' doubt and teachers' solution. And in the end, we had seen that both are instrumental to karmic bondage and both are non-existent in the path of liberation. Okay, that was the final say. Now there are some further arguments that the students is making here, and we will see that from page number 19. Yes. Who will read? Madhuji, you
I
read.
can read, sir. Yes. Thank you. Jai Jinendra, everybody.
Only absolute detachment is desirable in the path of soul's liberation. From there, we have to start.
Uh-huh. Out of rules of conduct, penance, abstinence, charity, worship, etc., on the one hand, and absence of all these on the other. Some are meritorious, while others are demerits. But if we go to the heart of the matter, both kinds of karmas are diseases. The Supreme Lord, Jinendra, has described the process of bondage like that. Merits and demerits both are bondage and causes of bondage. As such, the religion for the welfare of the soul discards all the merits and demerits without any distinction. Perfect detachment alone can take the soul to its destination, where there are no attachment and aversions. Only pure operation of the consciousness prevails without merit or demerit operations. Hearing this, the student argues before the teacher as follows. You have described merits and demerits, both showing them equal. I have that way developed a doubt in my mind. Those who are following the path of the soul's liberation, that is, followers in the fourth, fifth, and the sixth scales of development, cannot do without some support. They need the adherence of rules of conduct, abstinence, compassion, charity, meditation, and worship rituals to occupy their minds. Why? Why do you repudiate these altogether? The teacher, in return, reiterates, it is not like that. Do the followers of the path of emancipation need the support of merits or demerits? Their refuge is their own all sentient soul, which is ever present. The karmas are eliminated by the experience of such a soul and its practice. There is no question, therefore, of the it being without refuge or support. The devotion towards and engagement in the soul itself, which is without any delusions, attachments, and aversions, are instrumental to achieving the supreme bliss. The inclinations towards the rules of conduct and the activities of the inanimate matter are shadows of matter substance only. It has been rightly said that merits and demerits are both filth, a mass of matter and dereliction on the part of the soul. We can never attain omniscience and liberation by these. Hearing this, the student who believes in compromise asks his teacher to accept the view that merits are pure and demerits impure. The teacher, explaining the whole thing, asserts as below: as long as there are merits and demerit manifestations, one has variability in mind, body, and speech, as also in operative consciousness of both the types, that is, sentience and perception. One cannot experience the pure soul as long as there is no stability in mind, body, speech, and operative consciousness. Therefore, both merit and demerit manifestations are like scissors to cut short the path to liberation. Both are instrumental to bondage and, therefore, undesirable. I have spoken against both, knowing them as obstructions in the path of soul's emancipation. Thus, Pandit Banarsi Das has expressed his thoughts in accordance with the scriptures. Pandit Todarmalji writes in the
Stop,
same
stop,
context.
stop, stop.
Yes, sir.
We will see
Okay.
the Todarmalji's later on. Let's finish this Banarsi Dasji's Natak Samaisar's description. So, you see, the student gave an argument that the auspicious activities like penance, abstinence, charity, worship, right? And on the other hand, there are demerits activities also, right? So uh, he has this doubt, the student has this doubt. One minute. So the student has doubt that both are uh, both are cause of bondage and both are hindrances in the path of liberation. Perfect detachment alone can take the soul to the destination where there are no attachments and aversions. So the teacher is explaining that only pure disposition is the path to liberation. Apart from that, auspicious and inauspicious, merits and demerits, all are part of worldly existence only. Both are cause of bondage and both are hindrance in the path of liberation. Again, student argues that you are showing both as equal. So I have a doubt in my mind that those who are following the path of liberation, those who are in the fourth stage, fifth stage, and sixth, seventh stage, they do have some support. So what is their support? If you remove this auspicious and inauspicious sentiments, then what is their support? So then the teacher clarifies that they have taken refuge in their soul, and that is the only support they have. And based on that support, they are able to experience the soul and its practice. Therefore, there is no question of their being without refugee or support. They have their support of their own soul. Each soul in the path of liberation, whether he is in the fourth stage, fifth stage, or sixth stage, he has the support of his own soul. And with the support of his own soul, he is able to stop the influx of karmas. He is able to dissociate bondage which has been done earlier, and he is increasing his purity day by day. And one day will come when all the impurities will go away and he will manifest complete pure modifications. Okay. So this is the way. The inclinations towards the rules of conduct and the activities of the inanimate matter are shadows of matter substance only. It has been rightly said that merits and demerits are both filth, a mass of matter, and dereliction on the path of the soul. We can never
Sir,
attain omniscience and liberation by these. Yeah.
sir, why merits and demerits are called as matter?
Because they are based out of karma. Without karma, merits and demerits cannot take birth. The simple birth of merits and demerits is due to the rise of auspicious and inauspicious karma. Okay.
Right.
And since they are manifested with the support of karma, they are part of karma only, and that's why they are mass of matter. Okay. So they are both filth, both are mass of matter, and both are dereliction. Dereliction means vibhav. Vibhav means alien disposition on the path of the soul. So we can never attain complete purity, omniscience, and liberation by these. Then again, the student gives an argument. Hearing this, the student who believes in compromise asks his teacher to accept the view that merits are pure and demerits impure. So still student is not convinced. He is again giving an argument to his teacher. He is saying that I want to compromise. Let's make it this way, that the merits are pure sentiments and demerits are impure. So again the teacher explains the same thing. As long as there are merit and demerit manifestation, one has the variability in mind, body and speech. कंपन है ना, मन वचन काय की एक्टिविटी से आत्म प्रदेशों में कंपन. And because of that variability in mind, body and speech, it attracts karma, karmic bondage. Okay. So there is variability in mind, body and speech, as also in operative consciousness. That is upyog, active consciousness of both the types. That is sentience and perception. Sentience is gyan and perception is darshan. One cannot experience the pure soul as long as there is no stability in mind, body, speech and operative consciousness. Okay. So therefore, both merit and demerit manifestations, I'm making you co-host, Hemali.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, you have been made a co-host. Thank you. So both are instrumental to bondage, therefore undesirable. Okay. I have spoken against both, knowing them as obstructions in the path of soul's emancipation. That means liberation. So both are influx and bondage, and so both are obstruction in the path of liberation. So this is all about Pandit Banarasi Das from Natak Samaisa. Now, what Pandit Todarmalji has to say about merits and demerits. So we have seen many definitions of merits and demerits. Then the discussion through Natak Samaisar of Banarsi Das Ji. And now the final references is from Moksh Marg Prakashak, 7th chapter, page number 226. This is the last reference, 9th reference. And then we will come to the conclusion. And then we will discuss something extra on merit and demerit. Okay. Amitaji, you read Pandit Todramalji from there.
The person with wrong faith regards influxes of violence, etc., as undesirable, and the merit influxes of non-violence and others as desirable. Both attract bondage of the karmas. To regard them as desirable is perversion of faith. Likewise, he regards truth, etc., as causes of merit bondage, and untruth, etc., as causes of demerit bondage. All those, however, are false faiths, and so to be abandoned. Therefore, non-violence, etc., are also undesirable, being causes of bondage only. Only that stage where one remains a sentient seer with full detachment is the desirable state. Till such a state has been achieved, indulge in merits, all right, but have faith that this is instrumental to bondage only, and as such, undesirable. If this is regarded as path to liberation, the perverted faith persists as ever. Thus, we see that though merits are better than demerits, from the worldly point of view, and keeping this aspect of the state, the scriptures have recognized these as conventional religion, yet in the path of liberation, their position is negative only. The joy out of the pleasures of senses, consequent of merit, is the root cause of regarding merit as beneficial. As long as pleasures of senses are regarded as giving happiness, the desirability of merits cannot be lost sight of. Without touching the sentient soul, feelings of happiness in the pleasures of senses cannot disappear. The pure manifestation is the experience of the sentient pure soul, which is absolutely without merits and demerits. Those who want to taste real happiness of the soul, therefore, should always attempt to acquire the pure manifestation of the spiritual experience. The joy out of the pleasures of senses, consequent of merit, is the root cause of regarding merit as beneficial. As long as pleasures of senses are regarded as giving happiness, the desirability of merits cannot be lost sight of. Without touching the sentient soul, the feelings of happiness in the pleasures of senses cannot disappear. The pure manifestation is the experience of the sentient pure soul, which is absolutely without merits and demerits. Those who want to taste real happiness of the soul, therefore, should always attempt to acquire the pure manifestation of the spiritual experience.
Sorry. So, what Pandit Todamalji is trying to make us understand that a person with wrong faith, okay, regards influx of violence, etc., as undesirable and merit influxes of non-violence and others as desirable. Because he has got wrong faith, so he believes there is a difference between merits and demerits. He considers merits as desirable and demerits are undesirable. But both attract bondage of the karmas. To regard them as desirable is perversion of faith. It's a wrong faith. Likewise, he regards truth, etc., as cause of merit bondage and untruth as causes of demerit bondage. All those, however, are false faith and so to be abandoned. Therefore, non-violence, etc., are also undesirable, being causes of bondage only. So non-violence, etc., means all kinds of auspicious sentiments are also undesirable because they are also cause of bondage. Only that stage, this is very important line, only that stage where one remains a sentient seer, Gyata Drashta, okay, knower and seer with full detachment is the desirable state. Okay. So Vitragta and Gyata Drashta is the only desirable state. Till such a state has been achieved, indulge in merits all right, but have faith that this is the instrumental to bondage. Only as such undesirable if this is regarded as path to liberation. The perverted faith persists as ever. So, nobody can go to pure sentiments from demerits. Okay. So, one has to go from demerits to merits and from merits to pure sentiment. This is the process. Okay. So, there are three kinds of sentiments. So, if you are not manifesting pure sentiments, then you have only two options, either merits or demerits. So if you don't get involved in merit, you will definitely get involved in demerit by default. And when you indulge in demerit activities, then it binds you intense karmas and you land up in hell and subhuman state of existence, and there you suffer like anything. Okay. And you are there for a long period. So until and unless that state of complete detachment is not achieved, then indulge in merit. Intentionally get involved in merits, but have faith that this is also instrumental to bondage. This is not liberating us. It's an instrumental to bondage, but it is better than demerits in the sense that demerits is intense passion and merits is mild passion. But nevertheless, they both are passions and they are a cause of bondage and both are same in the path of liberation. If this is regarded as path to liberation, the perverted faith persists as ever. So this should not be regarded. You indulge in merit sentiments, but don't regard it as a path of liberation. This is what Pandit Todramalji has clarified. And now we are coming to the conclusion. Thus we see that though the merit and are better than demerits. So there was a correction. I'll just let you know in the previous page, page number 19. Last paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sixth line. Just typing mistake. Yeah. The IR being. So you just remove IR from there and join it with THE. So there being. Got it? Everyone got it? Typing mistake. There being. So IR is separate from the. You join it with the and being will be separate. Right.
Oh.
So this correction you do. Now coming back to our conclusion. So you see merits and demerits from the worldly point of view. Merits are better. Okay. From the worldly point of view. But as far as the path of liberation is concerned, both are same, both are cause of bondage, and both are need to be avoided. And we have to manifest pure sentiment. That is the only path of liberation. Okay. So the joy out of the pleasures of senses, consequent of merit, is the root cause of regarding merit as beneficial. As long as pleasures of senses are regarded as giving happiness, the desirability of merits cannot be lost sight of. Okay. So we have to understand that this merit is also a cause of bondage and we should not regard it as a path of liberation. Okay. Without touching the sentient soul, the feelings of happiness in the pleasures of senses cannot disappear. Unless and until we experience ourselves the true happiness, we cannot avoid the pleasure of senses. It will always be there because we feel happiness is there. Okay, that is the root cause. The pure manifestation is the experience of the sentient pure soul, which is absolutely without merits and demerits. Those who want to taste the real happiness of the soul, therefore, should always attempt to acquire the pure manifestation of the spiritual experience. So what actually is merits and demerits? So the enlightened souls, the right believer, knows its true nature, right? What is their true nature? They are both cause of bondage and are hindrances in the path of liberation. And so they don't indulge in them. And that is worth living. Okay. Both are worth living. So this is all from the textbook. Now we will discuss something extra uh, from the uh, other discussions that we hear from different scholars and in some other scriptures also. Merits and merits is the most discussed subject in Jainism. So it has got references in several scriptures and it is very connected to us. Connected to us means connected to our feeling. Now, we will see the definition of merits and demerits from the viewpoint of bondage. Okay. So demerits is intense passion. Okay. And merits is mild passion. This is the definition from the cause of bondage, right? So when you indulge in demerit, you are manifesting intense passion. And when you are indulging in merit sentiments, you are manifesting mild passion. Now I'll give you one example. If a householder uh, makes a temple, okay, then it is a merit or a demerit. Tell me.
The merit.
Merit.
Merit. And if a monk makes a temple, then it is a merit or demerit.
Demerit.
Why?
Because he's left worldly, what is, all worldly things.
But then he's not making the
And
temple
then
for himself, right? So why would it be a demerit? Isn't it still a merit that he's making that temple not for himself, but then for others, so that they follow that path?
That is true, but in the in the stage of spiritual development that a monk is, which is the 6th stage and 7th stage, this sort of activity is not advisable. This is not according to the spiritual stage of 6th and 7th. The 6th and
But then
7th
isn't it
stage.
being selfish that you do it
No,
for
no,
yourself, but
no,
then you
no,
don't?
no, 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 no. It is not that way. You are not responsible for anybody's development. It is your attachment that you do something for others, you know, that is because of attachment. You, in
Okay, so
fact, you have to understand this, that one cannot do anything for the other substances, right? All are independent. Nobody is dependent on anybody. Nobody can help it. Nobody can destroy it, anybody. So this is the fact. And now if you feel that you can do good for people, you can do something good for the welfare of the people, then your belief is wrong. So as long as you have a wrong belief, you cannot do anything. So this we are talking about a monk who is a true believer. Okay.
right.
Bhavlingi
So then
Muniraj.
just out of curiosity, like for monks, like who are in sixth or seventh stage, then what is
Right.
the merit for them?
So in fact, they don't have demerits in their life. Okay. So they have only two things, two options: pure disposition and merits. Only two things. So when they are not able to remain engrossed in themselves, then they come to the 6th stage, and that is the stage where they write scriptures. That is the stage where they motivate others to take into to initiate themselves into monkhood. That is the stage when they give lectures or instructions to other seekers, and that is the stage where they go to take their food just for the survival of the body. Okay, not
Right,
for.
but then again, like why do they give these sermons when they're not responsible for others? Like, what is the use of giving these sermons?
So because of attachment, even if they are in the seventh stage, then they will not talk only. Okay. But when they are not able to remain engrossed in the seventh stage, in the self, okay, then automatically the merits bondage come, because there are only three types of sentiments: merits, demerits, and pure. So pure is the best one. It does not bind any karma. It is a cause of stoppage of karma and dissociation of karma. Okay. So that is what desirable for all the souls in the path of liberation. But because of subdued effort, okay, because of subdued effort, he is not able to remain engrossed in himself. That is the seventh stage. So he falls into the sixth stage, and that is the stage when he gives instructions. That is the stage when he writes scriptures. That is the stage when he takes food. These are all activities of the sixth stage. So sixth
So, sir,
stage,
in
So,
sixth stage, if they give sermons and instructions, then it is a merit for them. But then if they do the same in the seventh stage, then it will become a demerit, right?
yes, seventh stage, there is
Okay.
no activity of mind, speech, and body. It is totally
Thanks.
pure manifestation. Okay, Sudopyog. So when they come
one more
out of
thing, sir.
Sudopyog, then this merit disposition also, they feel that they have come into a blast furnace. You know, blast furnace, in steel plant, where the steel is manufactured, there is a large blast furnace where the steel is heated. And then when it is heated up to 1000 degrees centigrade temperature, then take they out and then they put it in a water, cold water. Then again they take out from the cold water and put it in the blast furnace. Then again they put it in the cold water. In this way, the steel becomes strong. Okay. So when this monk, okay, when he is in himself, when he is engrossed in himself, that is the seventh stage, he is not binding any karma. On the contrary, he is uh, dissociating the earlier bondages. But when he is in the sixth stage, that is the stage of auspicious sentiments, merit sentiments, then in that stage, they are binding karma, auspicious karmas. Okay. But making a temple is not an activity which is monk is responsible for. Okay. If he takes any kind of responsibility, then he will not be able to engrossed in himself. Okay. And the stage of sixth and seventh is basically for themselves, to engrossed in themselves. Even acharyas and upadhyayas, when they feel that they are ready for deep introspective meditation, they leave their post of acharya and upadhyay and they become a simple sadhu, simple monk. Okay. And that is the stage where they have to only engrossed in themselves, nothing else. There is no desirable activities apart from engrossing in themselves. So when they are in acharya and upadhyay post, they are not able to do such activities. So they leave that post and become ordinary monk, and then they get engrossed in themselves. Okay. So this is the condition or the situation of a true monk, Baulingi Muniraj. Okay. So in that stage, for them, creating a temple is a cause of intense passion, and that is for them it's demerits. For a householder, it is merit, because householder is involved in all the worldly activities 24 hours a day. So for them, making temple, planning for them, collecting money for them is all auspicious activities for a householder. But if the monk also does such things, then they are not true monks. They have fallen from the stage of sixth and seventh. Okay. So they are not true monk. So what we were discussing was about true monks. So this was one
Okay.
definition. Yeah.
Sir, I have one curiosity.
Mm,
These sentient beings, they give
mm,
sermons
mm,
after enlightenment. After enlightenment,
mm,
they give sermons. right, sir?
Hmm.
So, is it,
After
what is
enlightenment
it
means
then?
after their fourth stage, you are
Uh,
talking about the fourth
no,
stage
no, no.
or
नहीं, नहीं.
omniscience
Those who have
knowledge.
got omniscience knowledge, those who have,
Okay. Then they
so
give
what is
sermons,
that?
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
then what is that?
So that is all without any intention. There is no intention there. The
Without
whole,
intention, then they will
yes.
keep quiet, na, sir.
No,
If they have no,
they wanted to keep quiet, but because of the people who are there in the holy assembly, okay,
yeah,
because of
yes.
their destiny, this
Hmm.
voice, divine sound comes out of its body automatically without any intention, without any interest on their part. Okay, so it is very
Okay,
natural. It is
okay.
not something that the monk is doing intentionally. It is happening unintentionally, and the words doesn't come out from mouth. It is coming out
अच्छा,
throughout the body, from throughout the body. And those who are there in the holy congregation, there everyone understands in their own language, whether they are subhuman
yeah,
state
yeah,
or human state, all understands in their own language. That is the uniqueness of that divine sound.
yeah.
Okay.
Even
So,
the
but
Koreans,
that
yeah,
gets
yeah,
translated. So, but that gets translated by the Gandhar, right?
Yeah, but everyone understands. Even if the Gandhar doesn't translate, Gandhar translates for monks only, you know, acharyas only. But all other creatures, they don't listen to Gandhar. They
Okay.
directly listen to the divine sound, and that divine sound, uh, uh, for them, it is in their own language. They understand it in their own language.
Koreans, yeah.
Yes, Tiryans and all, right.
Mhm.
So this was about the definition of merits and demerits from the bondage point of view. Now, I will discuss merits and demerits from the rise of karma's point of view. Okay, Uday ki aur se. So what we will call Paap ka Uday, rise of demerits. When there is a rise of demerits, your desire does not get fulfilled. This is another definition. When there is a rise of demerits, your desire doesn't get fulfilled. And when there is a rise of merits, your desires get fulfilled. Okay. Now I'll give you one example, and we will see that the same activity could be merits also and demerits also. Okay. So there was a businessman who was having a small house, and suddenly there was an earthquake and the house broke down, and he incurred a huge loss because he has to construct the building again. So he started doing the plinth, and so there was a huge loss to him. So what would you say, rise of merit or rise of demerits?
So rise of demerits.
The,
Okay, rise of demerits, good.
Sir, it depends
So
upon the perspective, isn't it?
I'm
You
coming
can
to
no,
take
that. I'm coming to that. Just
the okay.
simple. Now you answer me whether it's you will call it as merit or demerit.
Sir, it's neither merit nor demerit. It is the rotation of your past karma, right?
That is true, but on the appearance you have to comment, no, whether it is merit or demerit. So if you are increasing a loss, that means it's a paap ka uday, demerits, rise
Okay.
of demerits karma, right? Now,
Right.
when he started to reconstruct the house, okay, so when he was doing the plinth of the bungalow, then from there he got a treasure of 100 crore rupees. Now tell me that falling of the building is a merit activity or demerit activity for that businessman.
merit.
It
Now
is the
it's merit.
merit. Mhm.
Earlier we
Yes,
were
because
seeing
he
as a
can again
demerit.
construct.
Yeah. Earlier we were considering it as demerit because there was a loss. And now the same loss has resulted into huge treasure. You know, their forefathers has put it in the earlier times, they used to put it in the below the house, you know, in the soil only. And he got the treasure of 100 crores for, so now it's a merit. Similarly, there was a blind person, you know, and he was uh, he went to the temple, and he was counting that jap mala, that prayer beads, rosary. It is also called rosary. So he was doing that, and suddenly that mala broke and all the beads fall into the floor. Okay. So he started collecting those beads. And since he was a blind person and he could not see, so he has to put his hand on the floor everywhere to see whether beads are there or not. And he was doing that activity. Now tell me, this activity is a merit or demerit for that blind person? You will say demerit, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, as he was searching for that beads, right? Since he was a blind, he uh, there was a corner in one of the part of the temple, and he uh, touched that corner part through his eyes, and his eyes broke, and all the blood was flowing out from his eyes, and all the black blood which was accumulated there because he was blind, it got, all blood came out of his eyes, black blood, the bad blood, we can say. And he soon started seeing it. So now you will say it's a merit activity for
Merit.
him or demerit.
Merit.
So
Merit.
you see that merit and demerit is a relative activity. It all depends on how do you feel, right? Monk who is meditating in the jungle, and a lion or a sheep attacks him, right? Upsarg, we call it upsarg, inflictions, right? So now bodily inflictions. So now it's a merit or demerit for the monk, you tell me. Tell me, Himali, merit or demerit for the
At
monk?
this, at this,
Hmm?
So for the monk, it will be neither, sir, because the monk will not react to it. It is demerit for
Yes.
human being, but
So,
none for
we are talking about monk only. We are taking only, considering only monk, right?
Yes.
So, if he remains detached, right, even in the face of that inflictions, right? So, for them, it is merit, right? Because the karmas, how the karmas will come and go. It will come in this way only, and he will get liberated. So, for that monk, it was a merit activity. So, uh, if same monk, if he becomes sad that I'm doing so much of good thing and I'm doing this and that, I've left my home and everything, and still I'm getting this inflictions, if he thinks that way, and if he becomes sad, if he suffers from sorrow or misery, then it's a demerit for him. So it all depends how do you take it.
So
Right?
it will become a demerit because he will also fall in the spiritual stage, right? When he becomes sad.
Yeah. So it's a demerit for him, right?
Okay.
Only if he remains detached and he continues to focus on his self meditation, then only it is merit for him, because he will dissociate intense karmas that has been bound earlier, and he will soon get liberated, right? So each and every activity can be classified as merit or demerit depending on your internal feeling. How do you take it? If you take it positively, it is merit for you. If you take it negatively, it is demerit you. So the final conclusion is that particular activity is neither merit or demerit. If you are happy in those situations, for you it is merit. If you become sad or suffer from misery, then it is demerit for you. So that particular activity itself is not merit or demerit. It all depends on you. How do you take it? How do you feel it? How do you react it? And that will determine whether it is merit or demerit. Understood? So this was something subtle, very subtle. So you must realize it. So now with this trick, whatever difficulties comes in our life, we can still convert it into merit. From the outside, it is a difficulty. But if you are able to manage it, if you are able to remain calm and composed in those situations, if you are able to manifest happiness in those situations, then it is a merit activity for you. And it will become a cause of dissociation of past karmas. Okay. So it will be a merit activity for you. So with this, we end this discussion on merits and demerits. The enlightened people, they understand the nature of this merit and demerit in the true sense. Okay. And they react in that manner, and they try to manifest pure manifestation in both the stages. They either it is merit activity or demerit activity. In both the situation, they try to become passionless. Okay. And if they are able to remain passionless in those stages, then it is they are able to manifest pure sentiments. And if they react, if they become sorrow, miserable, then it is a demerit activity. And if they are able to remain happy, then it's a merit activity for them. Okay. But if they don't react only, then it's a pure sentiments for them. So the enlightened souls knows the nature of merits and demerits very clearly, and they discard both and try to remain engrossed in themselves and manifest pure sentiments. Okay. And that is all we should also learn from it and behave in such a manner. So the same activity which is seen as a difficult activity, adverse situation from outside, would be a good opportunity for you if you are able to understand it and if you are able to react it in that way. Okay.
So, so,
Hmm.
so in such situations,
Hmm.
not reacting,
Hmm.
will it cut down our what do you
Yes.
say, the
Yes.
demerits? And but suppose
Yes.
something is going
Definitely.
out in the,
Definitely.
not reacting outwardly, but
Right.
मन में कुछ चल रहा है. That is wrong.
Then it is a problem. Man mein chalega, then also
Yeah,
you are not happy.
because we are in that stage, I think. Not
So
yet.
even from outside you may seem unhappy, but if inside if you are happy, then you are still dissociating your past karmas. Okay.
Right.
It is only
No,
when
but
you
then isn't
react.
it?
Hmm.
No, but then isn't it better to react and get it out rather than putting it inside and then getting worried again and again?
Not
Yes.
putting it inside and getting worried. I'm not saying that. You react
No, but then
in
I'm
that.
just talking in general that we generally keep quiet, thinking that we shouldn't react, but then
No, no.
those things still.
That
Mhm.
should be with the support of your soul, no? With inward inclinations, you are able to manifest pure modification, and that is the desirable state. Not
But
reacting,
sir,
not reacting is passionlessness state. Reacting is either attachment or aversion. And if you are if you are devoid of attachment and aversion, then it is the stage of detachment or passionlessness, pitrakta, and that is the true religion. That is the pure sentiment. And that is the cause of stoppage and dissociation of karma.
So, sir, I had
So
a
there are
question.
only,
Sorry.
yes, yes.
Sorry, sir. Please go ahead.
Hmm. Yeah, no, you ask the question. No problem.
So what Arunji is saying, for instance, now I want to give an example. Like, for instance, if we are all sitting in a family gathering and
Okay.
somebody insults you. So Arunji is saying that isn't it better to just
yeah.
respond to him instead of keeping any negative feeling inside that, this person told me this or whatever. So, sir, is it better to not respond and just think that this person's maybe bad karmas are being, are coming into play, and hence he's saying this. It doesn't affect my soul. Is this how we have to react?
So if you are able to think in that stage that it does not affect my soul, I am a soul, my primary function is to just know and see. And if you remain a knower and seer, then you are doing the right thing. But if you are reacting, if you are getting angry, if you are getting anger, if you are getting uh, reacting to it, then it's a demerit for you.
Okay.
Okay. So
लेकिन
the
momentary तो सर गुस्सा
ideal
आता ही
state.
है. We do get angry, but we
So
do
that
not
is what
react
you have
many
to
times.
practice. What
Yeah,
you have to practice, that he is not the doer of these activities. It is just
yeah,
because of our past karma that has come into the fruition, and that's why he is acting in that way. You can
yeah,
see that he is also Bhagwan Atma. I am also Bhagwan Atma. So he is also a
right,
Bhagwan Atma. And if you are able to decimate this whole situation like this, and you are remaining calm and composed inside, if you are manifesting happiness at that point of time, then you are doing the right thing. But if you are
but we are
just
in a stage where
you
it
are
will
just
take
not
some time.
if you are yeah you have to practice it that way. It's all
That's right.
depends on your decision making power. How do you react? How do you analyze that situation? It all depends on that. So it is your own feeling that is going to dictate whether it is merit or demerit. So if you are happy, then it is a merit for you. If you are unhappy, sad, then it is a demerit for you. So the ball is in your court. Your life, your destiny is in your hand. How do you want to make it? Right? If you
Right.
want to make
Yes.
react, why does he does this? He's a very bad guy. He never he always criticizes me. He always thinks bad for me. If you go on those lines, then you have not able to practice discriminative knowledge. Right? So
Right.
it's very clear.
Yes, sir.
Everything is in
Yes.
our hand. Nobody is able to do any harm to you. No external entities. It is all your
Right.
own reactions, and that reaction is based on the understanding that you have developed. So if you develop this kind of understanding that there is nobody in this universe who can harm me, all are nirdosh atma, all are pure soul, all are Bhagwan Atma, all are God, if you are thinking that way, and then you don't react, right? You don't
Yeah.
react because you don't
Yes.
see the other one as a doer of those activity. Okay. He is also an
Yeah.
observer and you are also an observer. Then you don't manifest anything. You don't manifest merit
Yes.
or demerit. You don't manifest attachment or aversion. And that is the state of passionlessness. That is the stage of detachment. That is the stage of happiness,
Yes, sir.
unperturbedness,
Yeah.
nirakulta. Okay. And
Right.
that
Yes.
is the desirable state for all of us as
Oh,
a seeker.
yes, sir.
Any questions, Soumya? Understood properly? Everyone? Still,
Yes,
I can
sir.
discuss if you are not clear. So it is the understanding that you have developed, and that is creating happiness in your life. Earlier
And
we were what?
surroundings also.
Yes, earlier we were reacting to it. इसने मेरा ऐसा कर दिया. Always blaming others, others, others. We cannot see the other person as God. He is
True.
also a pure soul. These are all temporary sentiments that he is developing now, and that is just an instrumental cause. It is my
Right.
karma that has come into fruition, and he is
Right.
only an instrumental cause. So if you are all able to analyze all these things from different perspectives like this, then you will develop a balance. And that balance means you are not manifesting attachments nor aversion.
Environment.
And that will lead to passionlessness state. And that is the true religion. Okay.
True.
So
Yes.
I hope you have understood one trick which you will practice in your day-to-day life and create those difficult and adverse situation into a happy situation, right? So
True.
if you are feeling inside feeling is good, then whatever is happening outside doesn't matter. And if your inside feeling is bad and everything else outside is good for you, then still you are unhappy. Right? So our life, our destiny, our journey is in our hand.
Hands.
You are not dependent on any external factor. You are not dependent on any external person. You are not dependent on any external karma. Okay. So you have no hindrances in the path of liberation. Just don't react. Just analyze it and absorb it. Analyze it and absorb it. So when you absorb it, that means you don't react. And that is passionlessness state. And that is the balance that we want to create in our life, because the life will offer different situations. Okay. And if you are able not to react in those situations, then you are one of the few people in this universe, and that is really difficult. It needs a lot of study and practice. More than study, it is the practice that you are able to do. And when you are analyzing in this way that he is not the doer, it is my own karma, he is a innocent God, that way if you are able to manifest in those situations, you will not have anger, you will never have pride, you will never have deceitfulness, you will never have greed. All these sentiments will not manifest, because you are manifesting pure sentiments, not reacting, just observer, knower and seer, sentient seer. Very good word in this page number 22, second last paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line. Only that stage where one remains a sentient seer with full detachment is the desirable state. This is the words of Pandit Todarmalji. Okay. So this is all that we have to study in merits and demerits. It's a part and parcel of our everyday life. And because there are only three sentiments: merits, demerits, and pure.
Yeah,
So when
sir.
you manifest pure sentiments, you are actually stopping and dissociating past karmas. You are not binding any new karmas. Okay. And apart from that, if it is merit, you are binding auspicious karma. If it is demerit, you are binding inauspicious karma. Okay. Yes. Anyone else? Any questions? Any doubts? Anything to add? You are all welcome.
So, what would be the answer for the third question? Clarify the causes and divisions of merits and demerits and establish oneness between the two.
So the students doubt from 4 parameters: causes, tests, nature, and results. Okay. The one I told you to make chart last week. Have anybody made a chart? No one has made a chart? You don't find time. You don't find time to complete assignments, right? So, okay, I don't mind also. It was an optional homework. It was not a compulsory homework. But for your own benefit, if you would have made the chart, things would have been more clear for you. Okay. But anyway, if you still want to make for your own benefit, because this merits and demerits is one of the most discussed and one of the most closest topic to our soul, because all the time we are indulging in either merit or demerits, because pure sentiments is in this stage, fourth stage and fifth stage as a householder is very rare, right? So for us, either it is merit or demerit. So if you are indulging in demerit, it will take you to hell and subhuman state, so where you will suffer more. Okay. And if you are able to manifest and remain in pure, in merit sentiments, then you will be binding punya karma. And those punya karma, if you are doing it for religious studies and Dev Shastra Guru and all, then you will bind such auspicious karma, that when it comes to fruition, you will get Satya Dev Guru Sastra, you will get Samosaran, you will get monk, you will get Tirthankar. All these are the fruition of auspicious bondage. Okay. And then you will
Sir, I had
complete
one
your,
question about it.
yes.
So in this chapter, we discussed punya and pap, merits and demerits. With respect to what means, it's basically ashram. So it is about bond means influx and bondage of demerits and merits, not the uday of merits and demerits per se.
Yeah. So this chapter is more important because from time immortal, this soul, because of his delusion, has this belief that merits are beneficial and demerits are unbeneficial. Merits are religion and demerits are not religion. So he has that belief in himself, and that's why in Samai Sarji Granth, Acharya Kunkund had to write one more chapter of merits and demerits, because it could have been included in influx only, right? Both merits and demerits are subdivisions of influx and bondage, so that it could have been included in them also. But he made it a separate chapter for merit and demerit, for the sole reason that from time immortal, people have this misconception that merits are good and demerits are bad. But when we talk of path of liberation, both are cause of bondage. So nothing is good. Both are worth discarding. Both are undesirable. Both are worth renouncing. Okay. So,
Sir,
yes.
ashram, punya और पाप का आश्रव तो बुरा है. Means we should not do things that will bind merit or demerit.
Yes.
But what about the uday? So when you were talking about the last topic, that is कि हर जो फल होता है, it can be either classified as merit or demerit according to our own disposition at that particular moment.
Right.
So particularly uh, it is about the uday. For example, something is happening in outside in my surroundings, and I may take it as positive or I may take it as negative. I may be happy about it or I may be sad about it.
Right.
So that so there is a difference between it now. Means the thing which is happening outside, it is the result of punya, merit or demerit, and my reaction to it cannot either be classified as merit or demerit in itself. Merit and
So,
demerit is what I am getting as my sayog or my circumstances.
but how do you behave in those situations? That is very important. If you are feeling happy in those situations, if you feel that this is an opportunity for you, this is an opportunity for me, then you will bind merit. Then it is a merit sentiments for you. And if you become sad and miserable, then it is a demerit. So same
Okay,
situation.
it will result to my binding of merit or demerit
Yes.
consequently.
Yes.
Okay, if I remain happy, then I will bind merit karma for future, and if I become unhappy at that moment, it will bind demerit karma for my future. So that
And
is
if you
new
if
bondage we are talking about.
and yeah, and if you are not reacting at all, then you will not bind any karma. On the contrary, you will dissociate past karmas.
So it will be somewhere, completely somewhere.
Samvar and nirjara, both.
Both.
Dissociation also. Samvar is stoppage and dissociation is dissociation of past bondage. Okay.
Okay.
Sir,
So
I have
complete humanity,
So what
complete
is desirable? Desirable is the complete detachment state, right? Not merit also and not demerit also. But there is a uh,
understood.
there is something more special to merits and demerits. Like demerits are always worth renouncing. Okay, always worth renouncing. But merit has two situations. When you are falling down, okay, in your spiritual life, then these merits are helpful to you to remain in the path of liberation. Okay, so in that case, it is desirable. But when you want to go, when you want to get into pure state, okay, so at that point of time, it is undesirable. Okay. So punya katanchit he, katanchit upade. But pap atyant he. Okay. This is explained in Pravachan Sarji, verse number 9, 10, 11. No, 10, 11, 12. You can see that pap is atyant he, never desirable. But punya is desirable also and undesirable also. Desirable when you are falling down, when you are getting into inauspicious activities. At that point of time, punya is desirable to you. But when you want to go into the pure state, then punya is undesirable. Okay. So this you must understand. It is not absolutism. Everywhere you have to practice non-absolutism. Multifacetedness, balance, anekant. Okay. Punya hai, punya hai. So by doing that, if you slip from merits, you will get into demerits for sure. Because there are only three kinds of sentiments: pure, merit, and demerit. So if you are not able to manifest pure, then you have only two options: merits and demerits. And if you leave merit also, then you will get into demerit. And that is what happening. Because people don't understand merit and demerit properly. So they always say, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah. And in that case, they get into demerits, and which further takes them down from the path of spiritual upliftment. Okay. So this is the correct understanding that you have to develop. And the last takeaway is that it is all on your hand whether a particular activity is a merit or demerit for you. Okay. Okay, so we'll move on to the next chapter. Yeah.
Only one question. So I wanted to ask you, maybe this is not fully associated with this chapter, merits and demerits, but so
Okay.
we are living in a society and different people are following different religions. And so, like we studied in an earlier chapter, that work is worship, do good unto others, and others will do good unto you, and all of that is of what the other religions are saying. But so I had a question. Like, for instance, let's assume somebody is invited now for Durga Ma Puja or something, and you know, you have to go because you're living in the society. They are good friends. If you don't go, they'll feel bad. So should you go? Should you not go? And if you go, then what should be your state of mind?
So this is an individual call. Okay. It all depends on you. So I will take my example. We don't go. We don't go. We don't go even to marriages also. Okay. Any kind of marriages, we don't go. Forget about other religions functions. We don't go any functions. So it all depends on you because it's our life. Now, still if you have to go, right? Still for some reasons, like supposing your children are married to some non-Jain family. So you cannot avoid those relations and their functions and all. So you should, if you have to go, you will go there. And if you go there, you have to stay detached, right? And if you are able to stay detached with all those activities, you are still okay. Because these are some of the situations, very rare situations which comes in our life, and at that point of time, you cannot, it's unavoidable. So if it is unavoidable, then at best, whatever limited reactions that you are able to do, that is good for you. But you should never believe that this is a true religion, and if I go there and do puja, good things will happen to me. These all beliefs should not be there. It is just a courtesy that you are going for, and just it's a protocol that you have to manage.
Okay, right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So our life in our hand, nobody is forcing us. You will find ways to tactfully avoid those situations. You will automatically learn how to avoid, how to give a diplomatic answer, So when they come for invitation, don't say anything. Okay, we'll come. Just say, we will come. That's all. Then at those moments, they will not come ask again, why you have not come? So later on, you didn't go there, and later on they will check with you that why you didn't come. So you said, oh, I was just trying to come, but suddenly some guest came unexpectedly, and the discussions went long, and they were coming to our place after a long time. So we cannot just, so we have to prepare the dinner for them and these and that, whatever XYZ, you have to tactfully manage those situations. So he will not feel bad also, and your purpose is also getting solved. So these are some of the false statement that we have to made in some situation, but our intention is not to cheat them. Okay, our
मतलब ये तो
intention is
पाप
our
हो गया ना, झूठ
huh?
बोलना। सर ये तो पाप हो गया ना कि हम
So
झूठ
that
बोल
is
रहे
what
हैं।
I am saying. That is what I am saying. It is not pap, because your intent is not that. Your intent is not to get himself involved in those kudev, kuguru, kushastra, because that
But
will
then isn't it better to be
directly,
transparent? Isn't it
yeah.
better
So
to be
as
transparent?
I
Just
said, no, you
express
have to
your.
be diplomatic. So you can be, if you are able to be transparent, that we don't go on face.
Ah,
If you
it
are
is as
able to
simple as
say,
that. This is
yeah.
what my principle and my belief is
So,
that,
so
I
the
do not
situation you
follow
didn't
such and such
understand.
things.
You didn't understand her question, that they are living in a society. It's their friends, best friends, Durga Puja or something like that. Then what you should do? Because how you will maintain that friendship? If you want to maintain that friendship, you have to sometimes go, right? So if you are going also, you don't have that intent, and your understanding is correct, you don't consider it as religion, then you will still are good. So this I said, my first answer was, you have to tackle it individually, right? You will not find anything. So it all depends on your strength. Now, as you said, I will straightway tell him frankly, no, I will not come. So if you are bold enough and you are able to manage your friendship in that situation by saying that also, then it is good for you. And he will also understand that this fellow has limitations. He doesn't go to any functions. So he will
And
understand.
sir, another point is, what is wrong in going there?
So wrong is that there are two losses. One is that you will go, you will bind such karmas which will take you further away from right belief. That is the first loss. The second loss is that you will bind inauspicious karma. Okay.
Sir, what kind of inauspicious karma? That totally depends upon us. See, I can bind those inauspicious karmas while sitting at home as well, correct? And maybe
Yes.
while I'm going there, it all depends upon me how I bind karmas.
Right.
Going to a party or going to some another religious function doesn't force me to bind inauspicious karmas, correct?
So as I said, if you are able to remain disaligned in those situations, then it is good for you. So it is depending on you, how do you manage? But if you ask me, if you don't ask me, Todarmalji has given this explanation in chapter 6 of Moksha Marg Prakashak. This particular same question he has put in there. Okay, then what we should do such a situation? No, the question was like this. Okay, what is the harm in going? The question was like that. What is the harm in going there? Right. So same answer is there. I will share that clip from Moksha Marg
Sure.
Prakashak.
In that text, what I have heard is कि जब तक आप इतने पक नहीं गए हो, when you are so sure about your own religion, then there is no harm going there. But if you yourself become confused and if you yourself become bent, then it's better that you don't go. So
Right,
what I
right.
do is, sir, because I am very firm in my religion, and because of such compulsions, I also have to go with my friends to Puri Temple or to Taj Mahal and all those places. This is just a place of means worldly entertainment for me, and not some religious place for me. So
Yes,
that
yes,
way,
yes.
with
True,
that
true.
thought, I.
So you have to deal tactfully, and that tact will come automatically when you have a purpose in
Then
your
more
mind.
than
Yeah.
sir, but then more than religion, should we not focus more on the karmas? Like, why are we bringing religion in between, that we should be more focused towards our religion? We shouldn't follow another religion. I mean, we should be focused more
Because you
towards
have
our
to find the
karmas.
truth,
I
no?
think,
You have to find the truth, no?
and the truth is that, I am a soul, and the only job I have to do is to seek and
No.
dekhna or janna. That is it, isn't
Yes.
it?
So if you are remain there, if you are able to remain in that state, then you have become worth pujya. Then you have become pujya. If you are able to remain that.
Right.
But
So
the
I mean,
stage, the stage
we
that
should.
we are in,
Mhm.
we are not able to engross ourselves in our soul. So there will always be a reaction, either attachment or aversions. So again, that cycle will go on. So to break that cycle, you have to take difficult calls in your life. And with proper understanding, you can able to manage tactfully. No problem. See, if you want to please everybody, you will be unpleased one, right? And if you want to please yourself, then let everybody remain unpleased. Doesn't matter. As far as I am pleased, I don't mind. So you have to take your individual call, what you want to do. दूसरे को अच्छा लगाने के लिए अपना बुरा करना है तो करो, और अपने को अच्छा रहना है तो भी करो. Both, everything is in your hand. How do you take it? As I said. But there are some tight situations, as Himali was asking, and it all depends on us. Okay, so next chapter is chapter number 5, the experience of the soul and investigation of the elements. Atmanubhuti or Tattva Vichar. Okay, very nice chapter. It's a essay written by Dr. Bharilji, and earlier we had done 2 essays. One was in Tattva Gyan 1, chapter 5. The other one was in Vitrag Vigyan 3, chapter 5. So first one was Sukh Kya Hai, Tattwagyan 1, chapter 5. And then Main Kaun Hu, Vitrag Vigyan 3, chapter 5. So this is the third essay in that line, and both are connected. All the 3 essays are connected, as you will see. Okay. So we'll start reading few paragraphs, first 2 paragraphs, and then I will explain. So, Arun, you only read.
Sure, sir. The only remedy of getting correct replies to questions like what is happiness and who am I is the experience of the soul, and the initial method of acquiring spiritual experience is the investigation of the elements. The spiritual experience, however, grows by eliminating its own initial stage of the investigation of the elements. For such investigation is associated with attachment or aversion, while the soul is a self-feeling element without these accompaniments. We cannot have the experience of the self with all attachments and aversions. The above facts have been explained in the essay, which is the what is happiness and who am I, in the previous texts. The question in hand is what is the state of spiritual experience and what is investigation of the elements? By introvert learning towards the soul, to see it face to face and have the emotional oneness with it is the spiritual experience. The real meaning of the soul is to cut off the operative consciousness from the non self entities and to merge it with the eternal soul substance. It is all sentience having been constructed by sentience itself, being attracted towards this attribute and being the producer of the modification of real element of consciousness itself. That spiritual experience is one indivisible state of the mind, though accepting the divisions of the knower, the known, and the knowing activity. The meaning is that the knower is the soul, that which is known is also the soul, and the operation of the consciousness is also nothing but the soul. Shall I continue further, sir?
Stop. Yeah. So, this chapter begins with the 2 essays that we have read earlier. The only remedy of getting correct replies to questions like what is happiness and who am I is the experience of the soul. Okay. So those 2 chapters were we can say a preface to this chapter. Okay. So we had this question in our mind. I had given you concept clarity on paper 3 on who am I. And there also we were trying to understand what is our primary role in this life, okay, as a soul. And here also the main question, who am I and what is happiness? And connected to that is the answer is the experience of the soul. Until and unless you experience your soul, you will never know what is happiness, and you will also never know who am I. So the question, the answer to those both questions is lying in this chapter. Okay. And the initial method of acquiring spiritual experience is the investigation of the element. What do you mean by investigation of the element? So in Hindi it is written Tattva Vichar. So Tattva Vichar means thoughts. Okay. Thoughts on the elements. Okay. The initial method of acquiring spiritual experience, initial method of self-realization is the knowing of the fundamentals in the right sense. So when you want to know the 7 fundamentals, you should uh, investigate into it. You should have your thought process into it and understand each element how it is. Okay. The spiritual experience, however, grows by eliminating its own initial stage. So this is the initial stage. Now, when the self-realization will happen, self-experience will happen, this thought will also go. There will be no thoughts, only experience. Okay. And you will be experiencing eternal bliss also at the same time. By eliminating its own initial stage of the investigation of the elements. For such investigation is associated with attachment or aversion. Okay. So long you have that thought process, so long you have that investigation of the elements, it is associated with either attachments or aversions. While the soul is a self-feeling element without these accompaniments. What are these accompaniments? Attachments and aversions. So when you are devoid of attachments and aversion, that is the pure state, and that is the state of your self-experience. Okay. So we all want to experience ourselves, and for that we have to discard merits and demerits and manifest pure sentiments. We cannot have the experience of the self with all attachments and aversions. The above facts have been explained in the essays What is Happiness and Who Am I in the previous text. The question in hand is, what is the state of spiritual experience and what is investigation of the elements? So there are 2 components to this chapter. One is the experience of the soul and the other is investigation of the elements. We can say that investigation of the elements is a cause and state of spiritual experience is the effect. Cause and effect relationship between the 2. कारण कार्य व्यवस्था. ओके. तत्व विचार कारण है और स्वानुभव आत्मानुभूति ये कार्य है. Okay. So there is a cause and effect relationship here. By introvert leaning, antarmukhi vritti. So our active consciousness, which was engaged in sensory pleasures, we have to get that active consciousness into incline it towards our soul. Okay. So that is called introvert leanings. So when you have that introvert leanings towards the soul, to see it face to face and have the emotional oneness with it, this is the stage of spiritual experience. It is the spiritual experience. Okay. So उपयोग बाहर में था, उपयोग को वहां से हटा करके आत्म सन्मुख करना. This is called introvert leanings towards the soul. Okay. It is called the spiritual experience. The real meeting of the soul is to cut off. Okay. Real meeting means real experience. Self-experience of the soul is to cut off the operative consciousness, that is active consciousness, upyog, from the non-self entities. So from time immortal, our upyog or active consciousness is engaged in non-self entities. Now you have to remove that. You have to cut off that connection from there and take it towards yourself. And when you divert it inbound towards yourself, that active consciousness gets one with the soul, and that is the spiritual experience. Atmanubhuti ki dasha. The real meeting of the soul is to cut off the operative consciousness from the non-self entity and to merge it with the eternal soul substance. So this is very important, and this is called self-realization. This is called self-experience. This is called true experience of the soul. Okay, this is all. It is all sentience. Sentience means it is all jnanamay. Having been constructed by the sentient itself, karta bhi jnana, being attracted towards this attribute and being the producer of the modification of real element of consciousness itself. Okay. Gnayak be soul, ज्ञेय भी सोल, ज्ञान भी सोल और ज्ञप्ति होकर भी तीनों मिलकर के अखंड. Okay.
So what's gyapti?
Gyapti means the knowing process.
Okay.
Okay.
So what is gyan?
What is?
So you said gyan.
Gyan is knowledge or sentience. Okay. Gyan is knowledge or sentience. Gne is the knowables. Okay. The objects that reflects on our knowledge screen is called Gne. So Gyan, Gne, Gnayak is the soul, the knower, and Gyapti is the knowing process. Okay. All this becomes one when there is a stage of spiritual experience. जब आत्मानुभूति होती है तो ये सब भेद मिट जाते हैं. ओके. एंड ओनली अभेद का अनुभव होता है. Indivisible. Abhed means indivisible. Only the experience of the indivisible. That spiritual experience is one indivisible state, akhand, abhed, of the mind, though accepting the divisions of the knower, that is Gnayak, the known, that is Gne, and the knowing activity, that is Gapti. Okay. There is one missing, that is called Gyan, and that is knowledge. Okay. So Gnayak is written, the knower. The known is Gne. The third one is Gyan, knowledge. And the fourth one is knowing activity. Okay. It is one indivisible state. You cannot demarcate that this is soul, this is knowledge, this is known or Gne, and this is the knowing activity. You cannot demarcate. It is only the spiritual experience. So there it is indivisible state. All has become one. And when it becomes one, that is the time you realize yourself. Okay. So when you realize yourself, there is no subdivisions, no external, no attractions, nothing. Only self-realization, only self-experience. The meaning is that the knower is the soul, that which is known is also the soul, and the operation of the consciousness is also nothing but the soul. Okay. So all this is one experience where there is no division of knower, known, knowledge, and knowing activity. All has become one. Okay. I'll give you one example. When you want to buy something, say mobile phone. Okay. So you will see your budget, and according to budget, you will see what are the options available, what are the features of each and everything. Okay. So you will investigate everything, and then you will come to a conclusion that I want to buy this Samsung Galaxy M32. Okay. Now you have finalized this mind and you have paid the money and you have bought it. Okay. Now, do you think on those lines that this feature is there and this is not there? Nothing. Now you only operate that mobile. You only enjoy that mobile, right? So this is the experience state. Now there are no thoughts, only the experience. Okay. Next paragraph. So we have done 2 paragraphs. Now the third paragraph. How much time is left? Okay, we have half an hour. Yeah, continue. Who will read? Madhuji, you read. Or you
Yes,
have
sir.
done already? No, you have already read, no? Today?
Yes, but I can read if you say.
No, I'll give chance. Pratibhaji.
Sure.
Okay. The state of consciousness is also full of bliss. It is both full of consciousness and supreme bliss. Consciousness and bliss are not different things. Consciousness and bliss are both extrasensory. This state of extrasensory consciousness and happiness is real religion. The centralization of the complete power of existing consciousness on the non-sensory consciousness come happiness is the state of religion. Therefore, that permanent element having sentience and bliss is the object. The means and the adorable, the investigation of the elements engaged on the quest of soul regards the rest of the whole cosmos as non-object, unattemptable, and unadorable. You want me to do another? This sentience experience of the soul is the only aim worth achieving, without any association of non self elements. The soul is the producer of such a state, and this manifestation of sentience is the only correct activity of the soul. The division of the doer, the deed, and the means are in words only. All the three are indivisible, being phases of consciousness only. Religion starts with this spiritual experience and attains completion in its fullness. We cannot imagine any other state of religion. Spiritual experience is the religion of the soul. This is the only object of the spiritual aspirant. To achieve this is chief purpose of aspirant. The
Stop.
knowledge.
Stop. Uh, okay. 1 minute. Stop here.
Wait.
Mm, We'll do it in the next session, next time. Let me explain this 4 paragraphs. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 paragraphs. Okay. So first and foremost is that whatever knowledge you have, okay, you should be ready to submit it towards yourself, right? Whatever present knowledge that we have, right? Because of jnana, varna, karma, some part of our knowledge has not been able to manifest because of jnana, varna, karma, and some is manifested. So that manifested part of knowledge, that we need to use it and concentrate it on our soul. Okay. And that will bring the self-realization state. Okay. So this is explained in the first paragraph. The sentient experience of the soul is the only aim worth achieving without any association of, sorry, the one paragraph I missed here. This state of consciousness is also full of bliss. It is both full of consciousness and supreme bliss. So the experience state is full of bliss. Consciousness and bliss are not different things. Gyan and Anand, both are always together. Okay, you cannot separate knowledge from the bliss. Both are attributes of the soul and both are always together. Consciousness and bliss are both extrasensory. This state of extrasensory consciousness and happiness is real religion. Okay. The state of extrasensory consciousness and happiness is real religion. The centralization of the complete power of existing consciousness. So whatever knowledge or existing consciousness that we have to centralize on ourself. On the non-sensory consciousness come happiness is the state of religion. So when we remove our active consciousness from sensual objects and bind it inwards towards our soul, that is the only condition. Okay. And once we are able to do it, it automatically brings the state of happiness, the state of self-realization, and that is the spiritual experience. Therefore, that permanent element having sentience and bliss is the object, the means. Object is dhya, the means is sadhya, and the adorable aradhya. It is all the same. Permanent element having sentience and bliss. Okay. ज्ञानानंद स्वभावी ध्रुव तत्व ध्येय है, साध्य है और आराध्य है. Okay. It is the object, it is the means, and it is the adorable. The investigation of the elements engaged on the quest of soul regards the rest of the whole cosmos as non-object. Okay. Non-object, adhyay, unattemptable, asadhya, and unadorable, anaradhya. So only our pure soul is worth as an object, is worth the means, and is worth adorable. Everything else for us is non-object, unattemptable, and unadorable. This sentience experience of the soul is the only aim worth achieving. Without any association of the non-self elements, the soul is the producer of such a state, and this manifestation of sentience is the only correct activity of the soul. In fact, it's the only activity that we all want to do, and so the activity, self-realization. The divisions of the doer, karta, the deed, the karma or the action, and the means, the karan, are in words only. The division of the doer, deed, and means are in words only. All the three are indivisible, abhed, being phases of consciousness only. Okay. So when there is a state of self-realization, there is no distinctions of doer, deed, means, nothing. Okay. It is only the experience of indivisible. Religion starts with this spiritual experience and attains completion in its fullness. We cannot imagine any other state of religion. So there is no other religion. Just you have to realize yourself and the feeling that you experience, that is called the spiritual experience. We cannot imagine any other state of religion. So this is only the religion. All other activities are not religion. Either it is auspicious activity or inauspicious activity. And there is no fourth stage, only three states: pure manifestation, auspicious manifestation, and inauspicious manifestation. Okay. So you will be in one of these three, and ideally desirable is the pure state of manifestation. This is the only object of the spiritual aspirant. To achieve this is the chief purpose of the aspirant. Now the discussion on the 7 fundamentals will come up: soul, non-soul, influx, bondage, stoppage, dissociation of bondage, and liberation. All this will be discussed. Okay. So far we discussed the experience of the soul. Now, how this experience of the soul realizes based on the knowledge of the fundamentals, that is the second part of the chapter. Okay. So we will read this paragraph. The knowledge of the fundamentals necessary for the achievement of the above object. What is that above object? Self-realization. Okay. Above object is called the purposefulness of the spirit. Prayojanbhut tattva, purposeful elements. Okay. And the investigation and attempt in connection with these are the search for the elements. Okay. So these are 7 fundamentals, and this we can only know the true nature of each fundamentals by search of these elements, by knowing the 7 elements. The fundamental question of this activity are, who am I? So which element is this? Who am I? 7 fundamentals. Which element is this? Who am I? Soul.
Yes, sir. Soul element.
Soul element. What is complete happiness? Which element?
Moksha, sir.
Yes, very good, very good.
Moksha.
Yes, moksha. Okay, so these are our purpose. It starts with who am I, and it ends with complete happiness. All our Pratman Yoga stories starts from here, from self-realization, who am I, and moksha, liberation, complete liberation. Okay, so liberation. Attempts at achieving happiness means how the soul acquires such a state of sentient bliss, or how the soul substance attains the completely liberated state of its being. One who follows this path to spiritual glory is always engaged in such deliberations. Manthan, Chintan. Okay. He meditates that non-soul element quite different from the soul. So, Jeev Ajeev. He meditates that non-soul element quite different from the soul also exist in the cosmos. So we have covered 2 elements, soul and non-soul element. The soul, forgetting itself, harbors delusion, attachment, and aversion. Which element?
Sir, Ashrav and Bandhan.
Yes, Asrav, only Asrav. It is entangled in the operation of the merit and demerit bondages. This is bondage element. So long as this soul does not realize itself and settles in itself, delusion, attachments, and aversions will rise from time to time, and the influx and bondage will go on. To halt their growth, one should centralize the available consciousness in the soul force. What element?
Nirjara.
No.
Samvar, sir.
Somewhere. First stoppage will happen.
Stop it, sir.
Yeah, to halt. To halt means to stop. To
Yes.
stop their growth. Whose growth? Asrav and Bandh. One should centralize the available consciousness, the upyog, active consciousness in the soul force. Centralized, okay? It was going outside in the sensory objects because he was believing that happiness will come from outside, okay? Now we have realized that happiness is the attributes of the soul. It never lies in any sensual objects. So now the active consciousness does not indulge in external factors. It becomes inbound. Okay. And when it becomes inbound, it becomes one with the soul. And that is the stage of spiritual experience. Okay. To halt their growth, one should centralize the available consciousness in the soul force. Detachment by discarding merits and demerits, okay, originates only with this centralization. Thus, alone a time would come. So this detachment or by discarding demerits and merits originates only with this centralization. This is which element?
This is stoppage.
No, stoppage has already gone. Now it is nirjara.
Yeah.
Dissociation of bondage.
Dissociation.
Yes? Yeah. Now more liberation will come. Thus alone. So the purity has started with samvar. That purity is keeping on increasing with nirjara, and it will be complete. When the purity will be complete, 100%, then it will be liberation or moksha. Thus alone a time would come when all attachment and aversions will be totally eliminated, and the soul will develop the supreme state of detachment. In other words, it would become a completely sentient, blissful being. Okay. So this is the stage of omniscience. Okay. This is the stage of omniscience. The above process of thought, okay, and search is the investigation of the fundamentals. Okay. The above fundamentals, seeing how it happens, how it will happen, all these thoughts and search of the investigation of the fundamentals. Okay. So once you are able to know the nature of each 7 fundamentals, then the next step would be He Gne Upade. Desirable, undesirable, and knowable. 3 stages. He Gne Upade. So first will be Gne. All the 7 fundamentals are worth knowing. So they are knowables. Okay, all the 7. Now the next stage. Which one is worth adapting and which one is worth renouncing? Worth renouncing is He and worth adopting is Upade. Okay. So among the 7, can anyone say correctly all the 7? He, Gne, Upade. We have done it while studying the 7 fundamentals.
Yes, sir.
Would you try, Soumya?
Yes, sir. All 7 elements are, sir, gay.
Yes.
Jeev is gay as well as Upadey. And
Pardon. All the 7 are Gne. So now you
yes,
forget that Gne part. Now you just say what is He and what is Upade.
sir, Jeev is Upadey. And
Upade what? Upade worth manifesting or worth taking shelter?
worth taking shelter in.
So you have to complete. You have to give a complete
Okay.
statement. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So Jeev is Upadey, worth taking shelter in. And Ashrav, Bandh are Ajeev is only gay. It is not anything.
Right. Ajiv is only Gne. Right. Next.
Yes. And Ashrav and Bandh both are Hey. And Samvar and Nirjara are Ekdesh Upadey. That is, they are to be partially accepted or partially
Worth manifesting.
accepted,
Worth
partially
manifesting.
worth manifesting, and
Not taking
finally,
shelter. Yeah.
and moksha is Purna
Completely
Upadey,
worth manifesting. Worth manifesting.
completely worth manifesting.
Good. Correct. So everyone must remember this 7 and then Hegne Upade, and this is how the self-realization happens. This is the practical way of self-realization. While you are an ignorant being, there will be only 4 fundamentals in your life. Jeev, Ajeev, Asrav, Bandh. Because Samvar, Nirjara and Moksha has not started, right, in your modification. So you have only 4. Now out of this, Asrav, Bandh are worth renouncing because they are He. So you will not indulge in Asroban. Okay. And if you are not indulging in Asroban, and Ajiv is only name, only worth knowing, right? So you are left with soul. And when you take shelter in soul, the Samvar Nirjara, there is a birth of Samvar Nirjara, and then it will go on, purity will go on increasing, and then it will become 100% pure, that is liberation. Okay. This is practically how it will happen. So the above process of thought, yeah, any questions?
No, sir, please go ahead.
Okay. The above process of thought and search is the investigation of the fundamental. The process of soul experience is the process of investigation of the fundamentals. Various aspects of this investigation are not going to lead to soul experience because there is no such aspect of or attachment which can lead to some experience. We have to turn all our attention away from the world. The world here means body, karmic matter, and also other animate activities other than our soul itself. Okay. So three things: body, karmic matter, and also anya chetan padarth, other animate activities. Okay. Other than our soul itself. So body is sharir and karmic matter is karm. Okay. Hmm. 1 minute. Huh? I will check the Hindi words also. Sharir, karm, or achetan dravya. Okay, these three things. The world here means body, karmic matter, and also other inanimate activities, other animate activities other than our soul itself. The unnatural as well as the natural manifestation of the soul, vikari, avikari, paryay, okay, that arise in it from time to time can also not be the object of the vision. Drashti ka vishay nahi hai of the soul, okay. Beyond all these is the eternal sentient permanent soul element, which is the object of the present soul's pursuit upwards. Adherence to this permanent state leads to spiritual experience, and that is called religion. Okay. So from different perspective, they are coming on to the same cheez. Drashti ka visay Bhagwan Atma. Okay. In other words, the sentient elements is above color. Rang, rag, or bhed se bhed. So rang is color. Rang is color. Attachments is rag, and divisions is bhed. So bhed means gun bhed. Okay. So rang is color. Color means non-self element. Par dravya. Okay. As matter, etc. The second is rag. Rag means attachment. Attachment stands for all unnatural manifestation. So all these unnatural manifestation means merits and demerits put together. Okay. Auspicious and inauspicious put together are all unnatural manifestation rising in the soul. And division means that between a substance and its attributes. Okay. So there is no divisions. Substance and its attributes are all one. Gun guni bhed nahi hai. Gun bhed nahi hai. As also the stages of the development of consciousness and other attributes like mati, srut, avdi. Okay, these are different stages of development of consciousness. Okay, so all these attributes गुण भेद को छोड़ देना है. विकारी अविकारी पर्याय से भी भिन्न, रंग राग भेद से भिन्न. Okay. Now whatever is left is your pure soul. The sentient blissful element is above all these, and that is the only prop for this purpose. And that is the only prop for this pursuer. Prop means dhruv. Okay, that is the only prop. The true means to spiritual oneness is the complete dedication of the present state of consciousness. Now, 3-4 paragraphs are left. So we will again keep it up to here. And the next class, we will complete this. So I'm just intentionally keeping it pending because otherwise it would have taken 5 minutes more and completed this. But I would like you to just read again this chapter and try to understand how the process is going on. Okay. So this is a very good practice of practicing discriminative knowledge. Okay. So भेद विज्ञान का एक बहुत practical उपाय है. So we will do it again in the next class. I will repeat the summary of what we have gone through today, and then we will complete it. But in meantime, you can read the whole chapter 2 times, at least 2 times, okay, to understand the correct meaning, and you can start practicing also in your practical life. Okay.
So I have a question.
Yes, ask. You still have 4 minutes. No
Sir,
problem.
when it says the experience of the soul and the investigation of the elements, so sir, it is referring to the elements of the soul, correct?
No, investigation of all the 7 elements, because until and until you know the correct nature of all the 7 purposeful elements, self-realization will not happen. It is not that you are knowing only the soul. You have to know the non-soul also. You have to know the influx also. You have to know the bondage also. You have to know the stoppage also. You have to know the dissociation of bondage also. You have to know the liberation also. You cannot leave one element from the 7 to manifest self-realization. You have to know all the 7 correctly. Okay. And once you know the correctly, and then you apply what is worth desirable, what is worth not desirable, what is worth knowable. So you apply that and then the practical process, and you come to the self-realization state. And that is my intention of repeating this chapter again. So I'm keeping it pending. I will summarize the whatever we have covered so far, and it's another chance for you to revise through the week and do some practical on it. Try to do some practical on it.
So the next question I have is, sir, when it says operative consciousness, so what does this mean, operative consciousness?
Operative consciousness means active consciousness, means upyog. Okay. We have, when we say upyog, it means 2 qualities: gyan, darshan, knowledge, perception. So if I have to say in 2 words, I will say knowledge and perception. If I have to say in 1 word, I will say active consciousness. So active consciousness is the only thing that we have in this manifestation. There are influx, there are bondage, there are non-self elements which we are knowing every moment. Now, who is knowing? The active consciousness is knowing. Active consciousness is part of our soul. Active consciousness is our only representative in the modification. Okay, I'll give you one practical example. You know submarine?
Yes, sir.
Submarine sails below the water. Okay, it never comes up. Okay. Now, there was a submarine. It was made of transparent glass. Okay. But it is made in such a manner that not a drop of water enters in the submarine. If a drop of water starts entering, everyone will drown. Okay. So submarine is such made, it is totally waterproof. But it is made of transparent glass. So you can see from outside that whale fish is coming, right? And you are seeing it, just you are attached with the glass and you are seeing that a fish is coming. You remove your face like this, because you thought that that fish will come and hit me, but you are inside the glass. So you are not being, you cannot be hit, but we don't know that. So out of practice, we do that action. But the next time, now you realize that it doesn't come inside. So now you just stand still. Fishes are coming and hitting it. You are still okay. No problem. Because you know you are completely safe. This fish cannot come inside the submarine. Okay. So you are now an observer. You are seeing the fish, the frogs, the crocodiles, the snakes, what not. Okay. But you are an observer. So our active consciousness is just like submarine. Okay. It's the only representative of the soul in the present modification. All other parts in the modification that are being known to us, that are being reflected to us, are all outside things. Our soul is the observer. It is observing through this active consciousness. Okay. That is the open part of our knowledge sentiment. Okay. And through that sentiment, through that active consciousness, we are knowing the outside world. And through that active consciousness only, we will realize ourselves. Because that is the only instrument that we have. You know, if we are able to channelize it inward towards our own soul and take shelter in our soul, then the state of self-realization happens. Okay. So we have to practice descriptive knowledge, navigate our active consciousness from all sensual pleasures towards inbound towards our soul. And once it is inbound towards our soul, it merges with the soul. Okay. It merges with the soul and the state of self-realization manifest. And in that state, there is no distinction of who is a knower, what is being known, nothing. Only realization, only experience. Okay. And this is what we want to manifest. Okay. So hopefully you will all practice. Arun, you will practice or not? You have understood this chapter?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay. So I want a positive response from everyone. Next time I will ask you questions on this and I will able to know whether you have studied or not. Okay. And the Gandhar Mulyankan submission, I had given you 21 days time, but only 5 students have submitted. What is wrong with other students that I want to know? If you want any help, I can give you any help you want, but you should complete on time every time. And still you can complete in the next couple of days. Okay, I'm giving you an extension. You complete it by Sunday. Okay, you have a weekend coming up today and tomorrow. So you complete it by tomorrow and submit. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And revise this chapter also. So you have not submitted, Hemali?
So I started writing it, but mine seemed very simple, and Soumyaji's one seemed very, very intense. So I was thinking mine is sounding very simple. I probably need to read up more.
No. Don't take such tensions. You just do it whatever you feel like, and it's just a practice, but doing it on time. If you want to investigate for 10 days, you take 10 days, but do it on time. No, I've given you 21 days. So at the last moment, if you do it, then these things will happen. Okay. So the next assignment that I will give, we will do it on time, all of you. Okay. And this one you should finish.
Yes, I'll do it today.
Okay. Arun, you also should finish. You have not finished GM. You know your topics, right?
He's not there.
Oh, he has left already. Okay. No problem. निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है उसके लिए जिनवाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है उसके लिए जिनवाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है 9 बार नौकार मंत्र गिनेंगे। जय जिनेन्द्र।
Thank you, sir.
Jai Jinendra.